We're just about to start. Today we will be talking about listening skills.
Good morning, all of you. Myself, Dr. Chanchal. Welcome you all in 10 days INSET program for TGT English. For today's session, the first session, we have Miss Sonia Behel, RP, and she will talk on listening skills. So I welcome Sonia Behel ma'am to start the session. And this session is live on YouTube also. I'll share the link in our Telegram group. You can join through live YouTube link also. So over to you, Sonia ma'am. You can start.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Today we are going to talk about listening skills. As we all know that listening is the ability to accurately receive and interpret messages in the communication process. Without the ability to listen effectively, messages are easily misunderstood. We all know that. But as a result, communication breaks down and the sender of the message can easily become frustrated and irritated. But listening is not the same as hearing. You might hear something, but you have to listen to understand it. Hearing refers to the sounds that enter your ears, and it is a physical process. Provided you do not have any hearing problems, happens automatically. You hear a sound, it comes to you automatically. Even while you are sleeping, you hear a sound and you get up. At times you hear the murmur of people, but you cannot understand what they are exactly saying. But hearing is there. Listening, however, requires more than that. It requires focus and concentrated effort, both mental and sometimes physical as well. At times, you have to make an effort to listen. Here, we have a few differences between hearing and listening. In hearing, there is no effort required, while in listening, there is an effort required. You do not make a conscious decision to hear, but in listening, you make a decision to listen. You physically experience the sense of sound. You deliberately pay attention to the sounds. Sometimes the sound you hear is sudden or unexpected, like a noise, an alarm, or an explosion. But listening, you have to really make an effort to listen. For example, you say, I can't hear you. Could you please speak louder? My grandmother likes to listen to the radio. Did you hear the thunder last night? So, hearing is very casual. It happens, but it does not, you do not retain everything. But hearing versus listening, you can hear somebody talking, but you need to listen to them to understand what they are saying. He cannot hear the dog barking because he's listening to music while you have the earpods on. And even if you hear the sound of the dog barking, you will not be able to make anything out of it. The vet is listening to the dog's heartbeat. You can see it in the picture. Listening is the ability to accurately interpret messages in the communication process. Listening is key to all effective communication. If you do not listen properly, you will not be able to answer also. You will not be able to communicate to the other person also what you want to communicate. Without the ability to listen effectively, messages are easily misunderstood. We do not understand what is being said if we do not listen properly. As a result, communication breaks down, and the sender of the message can easily become frustrated or irritated. Good listening skills also have benefits in our personal lives, including a greater number of friends. We all know that if you have a good listening power, you have more friends and social networks. You have an improved self esteem and confidence, higher grades at school and in academic work, and even better health and general well being. Listening is not the same as hearing, as we have already said that. Hearing is a physical process. It refers to the sounds that enter your ears, whereas listening requires focus and concentrated effort, both mental and sometimes physical as well. Listening means paying attention not only to the story, but how it is told, the manner in which the story is told, the use of the language and voice, and how the other person uses his or her body. All this makes a sense. Only then we say that listening is being done when you pay attention to all these things. I hope you all are understanding what I'm saying. If you have any doubts, please, you can always ask me. So, what happens if you aren't actively listening? Can you please tell me? If you're not actively listening, what happens?
Ma'am, if we don't actively listen, we usually miss the message and we end up only hearing something which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, very right. That is what happens. And generally, when we don't want to listen, we do this only. You may fall into the trap of passive listening also. Passive listening is simply hearing what the speaker is saying without really trying to understand it. When students passively listen, they don't retain information because they are easily distracted. Generally, in our classes, we make the children keep quiet and we make them hear what we are saying. But we don't know whether they are listening or not, whether the thing which is going inside is being assessed, is being interpreted, is being understood or not. We cannot make that. Anji, may I know? Samiksha, you want to say something?
Ma'am, sorry.
It's all right. So now, listening means paying attention not only how it is told, the use of language and voice the other person uses, his or her body also. Like whatever I'm saying, you are listening, but I'm trying to use my hands also, my expressions also. Everything is being in the way I'm speaking. In other words, it means being aware of both verbal and non-verbal messages. Your ability to listen effectively depends on the degree to which you perceive and understand these messages. You might understand it differently also. I might be saying something and you might understand it differently also. Listening is not a passive process. In fact, the listener can and should be at least as engaged in the process as the speaker. You know, active listening is used to describe this process of being fully involved. Passive listening is there when you just listen, but we don't know whether it is being handled properly or not, whether you are taking in and acting on it or not. The phrase active listening is that you are listening and you are analyzing what has to be done next. Then types of listening. There are general types, listening types. The two main types of listening, the foundations of all listening subtypes are discriminative listening and comprehensive listening. Now, you would like to know what is discriminative listening. Discriminative listening is first developed at a very early age, perhaps even before birth in the womb, when the child is not even born. This is the most basic form of listening and does not involve the understanding of the meaning of words or phrases, but merely the different sounds that are produced. In early childhood, for example, a distinction is made between the sounds of the voices of the parents. The voice of the father sounds different to that of the mother. This is discriminative listening. When the child can discriminate between who is speaking, is it the mother or is the father? So, this way, discriminative listening starts at a very, very young age. Then, discriminative listening develops childhood into adulthood as we grow older and develop and gain more experience. Our ability to distinguish between different sounds is improved. Not only can we recognize different voices, but we also develop the ability to recognize subtle differences in the way that sounds are made. The same discriminative listening develops and we change from childhood into adulthood. Comprehensive listening. This is the next type of listening, which involves understanding the message or messages that are being communicated. You can see two people talking here. If you cannot understand what the other person is saying, then you have not comprehended what is being told to you. Comprehensive listening is further complicated by the fact that two different people listening to the same thing may understand the message in two different ways. You must have seen that when you are talking about something, you say the something and the other person takes it in a different manner. Can you give me an example of such a message? Any of you? Anybody would try to answer? Could you tell me an example of comprehensive listening?
Ma'am, it usually happens in the class also.
Yeah.
Our ongoing session.
Yes.
May I say?
Yeah.
Ma'am, it usually happens in the class when we teach students. The different students answer the same question in different manner.
Yes.
So this can also be an example.
Yes, definitely. That what they have listened is different. One might interpret it differently.
Yes, ma'am. They interpret differently, and they accordingly their answers also vary.
Yeah, definitely. And Sachin sir, what you wanted to say?
Ma'am, our ongoing session is also example of comprehensive lesson.
Yeah, you all are trying to understand what is being said here.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Specific listening, discriminative and comprehensive listening are prerequisites for specific listening types. You need to understand this that listening types can be defined by the goal of the listening. What you want the person to get out of listening to you, that is more important. And the three main types are informational listening, which are really important to us. That is listening to learn. Whatever information we get, are we learning from it or not? Critical listening. This is listening to evaluate and analyze. Whatever we are listening, we have to think about it, we have to analyze it, we have to think where we can use it. That is critical listening. And therapeutic or empathetic listening, listening to understand feeling and emotion. These three types of listening are seen in our lives. And informational listening is important because once we get information, only then we can analyze, and only then we can see that therapeutic or empathetic listening is being done. So, first, informational listening is very important. And there are other listening types also. Appreciative listening. In appreciative listening, it is just for enjoyment purpose, like listening to music. Many people go in for music therapy. So appreciative listening is basically when you want to enjoy something. Then there is rapport listening, when trying to build rapport with others. We try to talk in such a manner so that the other person and myself, we can be on the same plane. When trying to build rapport with others, we can engage in a type of listening that encourages the other person to trust and like us. Like, for example, a salesman. He may make an effort to listen carefully to what you are saying as a way to promote trust and potentially make a sale. This type of listening is common in situations of negotiation. Building rapport and negotiation skills are, you can read more about it. But basically, listening is important here also. If we do not listen, we do not know what the other person wants. When a salesman comes to us, and if he only speaks, it's he will not understand what we want. Then there is selective listening. This is a more negative type of listening. It implies that the listener is somehow biased to what they're hearing. Bias can be based on preconceived ideas or emotionally difficult communications. Selective listening is a sign of failing communication. What we do is, generally, we do not listen to what we don't want to listen. Because he is speaking, I am not going to listen. He doesn't know what he's speaking. So, selective listening is a sign of failing communication. We do not want to communicate with that person. So that is why we are not trying to even make an effort to listen to that person. You cannot hope to understand if you have filtered out some of the message and may reinforce or strengthen your bias for future communications. There are certain methods in which we can listen effectively. Can you tell me a few? How can listening be effective? Anybody? How can we make listening more effective? Nobody wants to speak?
Ma'am, by developing interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to make it very interesting. Yes.
And by being more attentive.
Definitely.
And by motivating the listeners.
Yes, motivation is very much required. Definitely.
Good morning, ma'am. And one more point is face the speaker and maintain eye contact. As for now, we can feel this if we are not facing you. So our interest somewhere or the other, we are losing the interest. Means,
Yeah, definitely this happens. I know. That is why I'm trying to, talk to you so that at least I'm there.
yes,
I'm
ma'am.
trying to communicate with you.
So,
I
ma'am,
know.
we are elders and we can understand the mode of this learning. But I just want to say about our little kids.
Yeah.
They will feel boring if they are unable to see our faces. In that
Def-
sense, I'm saying.
Definitely, definitely. That's what we also felt during this session, that most of it is we are speaking and you all are just listening, then you will get bored. And after a time, you might get distracted also. It's easy to get distracted that way. So
Yes.
it's better if we can communicate better, if we can see the faces also. Definitely.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am. And one more important point is we should
yeah.
not interrupt other while he or she is speaking.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. Now, how to listen effectively? Ma'am has said some things, but what I have with me is we should stop talking, as you have already mentioned, that we have to be silent, show interest. That has also been said. Uh, there is another thing is ask questions. If you do not ask questions, the even I would lose interest and you would also lose interest. So if there is something to ask, you make an effort to do that. Make eye contact, that is definitely there, so as somebody also said. Um, Take notes, make notes, listen creatively, put your entirety, send feedback as you all are giving me, avoid or eliminate distractions. Try to gather information about topics to develop interest and familiarity. In listening activities, we do a lot of things in classes, like we make them listen to a recorder and we try to make them answer a few questions after that. You must have heard about that listening activity which the British Council had given to us initially, and in that the speaker was supposed to be speaking English, but he had an English accent. So the children were not able to understand much. But if we make them understand in the same, by the same, what do you say, in by an Indian or somebody who is more slower in speaking, I think that would make a lot of difference. And what are the benefits of effective listening? Can somebody tell me about that? Ricky?
Ma'am, learning become more effective.
Sorry, I could not hear you.
Lear- Learning become more effective.
Yes, definitely.
Ma'am, we understand it very well.
Yeah, you are understanding it very well. But do you think the child will understand better if he listens properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Definitely. Definitely,
Of
no?
course, ma'am. If a child pays attention,
Definitely.
obviously he will get the meaning, and then he will find himself confident too.
Yes, definitely. So, benefits of effective listening are it enhances your productivity.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. There is one more thing. I think being a good listener can also make you a very good speaker as well.
Definitely, but I don't think so. You gain that much of confidence unless and until you speak out. If you listen and I'm a very good listener, but speaker, I don't know. I can't I can't bet on it because I feel very scared at times. So it does make a difference, but yes, you learn how to speak things properly.
Yeah.
Especially in English, we have a lot of accent problems and things like that. So, and especially the thing, some things are pronounced with silent and missing letters and things like that. So, if you hear this thing, hear it before you speak, then it is better. It's much better. It does help you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
It improves relations. Then it avoids conflicts and improves understanding. These are the benefits I'm talking about effective listening. And improves negotiation skills also. How can you say that? If you listen properly, it improves negotiation skills also. And it adds to your image and personality. But there are lots of barriers to effective listening. We know in classes, we have seen it. So, what do you say? What will be the barriers to effective listening? Can you name a few?
Noise in atmosphere.
Sorry, I could not make out.
Ma'am, noise.
Noise, definitely, yes. What else?
Distraction.
Lack of interest.
Lack of interest, definitely. Very good.
Ma'am, sometimes fatigue can also be the
Yes.
reason.
In the last period, we generally see the children don't want to study. They don't want to listen. Frankly, even if you're speaking, I used to take English class the last period, and the children were generally not able to decipher even a word, single word. Then I had to make them, play and learn, because at in the end, fatigue really takes it over, and you cannot expect anybody to learn properly. So that is why we generally feel that our period should be in the first 4 periods. Don't you think that?
Very right, ma'am. We have also experienced the same. Happens also.
And what else?
Ma'am, if the topic is
Too
not
much
interesting.
information
Sorry, I could
also
not make
can
it.
be the barrier of listening.
What can be the barrier of listening?
Ma'am, too much information can be the barrier to listening, I think.
Yes, definitely. If we give them lots to learn, lots of information, they are not going to pay attention also. So we try to make it like one thing at a time would be better. Like even when we are teaching grammar, if we teach all the nouns at one go, or all the adjectives, or all the this thing verbs at one go, they will not be able to make out. Gradually, if we keep increasing, then they will be able to do it better, I think.
Lack
Then,
of vocabulary.
Sometimes the fear,
Hanji, Samriddhi?
yeah, ma'am, sometimes the fear of the speaker can also be a factor.
Yeah, definitely. That does make a lot of difference. These days, when we are doing it online, they are saying that it is very effective because some of the children are speaking, though they never used to speak out in class. I don't know, I have not experienced that, but the teachers do say that there is a lesser fear now. I don't know, because the teacher is not standing on their heads or whatever. Then there is always a prejudgment about the speaker. If we do not feel that, if we know that that teacher is very strict, how do you think the child would react? Will that child pay more
They would
attention?
hesitate to speak. No, the
Yeah, they
attention
would
would be less.
definitely, the attention would be definitely less, because they
And
would
another,
feel. Yes.
I'm saying that another
Yes.
barrier to listening can be
Lack of?
efficiency also.
Yeah, that is always there. If you are not very efficient in that language, then you feel a little scared speaking out. But how can we improve that?
Using
Listening
gestures.
vocabulary.
Do you think that in classes you need to speak only in English?
No, a multilingual approach has to be used.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Because children don't
In
understand.
English, they are not able to comprehend everything.
Definitely. Especially the bookish language is difficult for them. But how can we make them get out of the fear of speaking?
मैम आई जस्ट से गलती तो होगा कोई बात नहीं बेटा यही कर लो गलती जो करनी है
I know that is a very good step because even I used to do the same thing. And gradually they gained so much of confidence that they tried to speak to me in English, though they used to make a lot of mistakes. But gradually, I think it did help them. Even the adults are making a lot of mistakes these days, but it but they're at least speaking, I think. But if you catch them at class 6 itself, then it'll be much better when they come to class 10. Then generally we have some prejudgments about the speaker, which is a sort of a barrier for us in effective listening, and also assuming that the speaker is going to give some unimportant information. A lot of noise somewhere. Uh, Samriti, will you make it silent? Thank you. That assuming that the speaker is going to give some unimportant information. If you feel that the speaker is just going to say anything, it's not important for us to listen, then you just don't listen. And arriving late for a speech, presentation, or lecture, that also distracts you. You are not able to come to um, concentrate on the thing that is shown to you or that you are hearing. And judging the speaker by her mannerisms, voice, appearance, accent, etc., you tend to get distracted also. Then you do not listen properly. As you all said, lack of concentration or interest, and avoiding listening to difficult, boring, or complex information, and selectively listening only to what is considered interesting. This does happen, as ma'am had already said, that there are lots of, if you give a lot of information at one go, the children are not going to take in anything. So it's better to give them little at a time. Speaker or listener being distracted by disturbances. Generally, what happens is that you get, as you had already said, first one only, that you get distracted by some noise or the other coming from here and there. So you do not concentrate on what is being told to you. There are certain common listening misconceptions that intelligent people are better listeners. Don't you think? What do you say?
Ma'am, it can be put in a different manner. Better listeners become more intelligent.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good saying. Then hearing is the same as listening? Is it?
Usually people think that, but then we understand to make a difference that it is not the same.
Yeah, it's just not the same. And we listen better as we get older.
Definitely.
You
We
think
have
that?
experienced it. We have experienced it like, yes, now when we pay attention, when we understand the importance of listening, then we listen in a better way.
Actually, what happens is, yeah.
Ma'am, there is a different perspective also. As we reach a certain age, we think in a way we become complacent that we know everything. So most of the time it happens that we don't really listen to people who are, say, younger to us. It happens a lot because we think that we have reached a certain age where we know everything. So with age, a lot of people become bad listeners also because they
Yeah.
don't
May
learn
second this
anything more.
opinion.
Yeah, definitely. There's a different view for everybody. Then, gender affects listening ability. Do you think that is right?
Not sure, ma'am.
Uh,
If we take it there, like if we talk about, say, male female relationship, then definitely men think that women are supposed to listen only. And then if we talk about, say, a relationship of a man and a man would not really take a woman seriously. If we go there, like if we take it from a feminist perspective, then I
yeah.
think then I think men would think that in a way, if a woman is saying something, you would think that, you know, it's not of much importance, so we should, like, I should rather not listen to this.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it affects. It does not affect, but then the kind of society we live in, men don't take women that seriously, and it is a
Yes,
reality.
definitely, definitely. I too agree with
Ma'am,
you.
actually, gender doesn't affect listening ability.
Uh, Gender doesn't affect listening ability, but this is a misconception that yes, sometimes men do not listen to what the women are saying, and women do not listen to what the men are saying. That's what is generally considered. But gender does not affect listening ability, definitely. Thank you so much for being with me. And I think the time is up. I'll see you again around 12:10. Then we can do some practicals.
Thank you so much, Sonia.
Most
Thanks,
welcome.
Sonia,
Hello,
ma'am.
everybody. Thank you, Sonia ma'am, for this wonderful session.
Thank you.
Ila Verma, your next facilitator. Uh, Good morning, participants. And
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning,
yes,
ma'am.
we have 10 minutes break now. We'll take 10 minutes break. You will not leave the meeting. Leave it as it is and join after 10 minutes. It's a bio break. You can relax for some time, and we will join the session again at 10:20.
Ma'am.
Is this fine? Or if anyone of you have to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Sandeep Kumar.
Yes, Sandeep ji.
Yes, ma'am. I'm doing COVID survey. Can I continue the training?
Yes, you can continue the training. There is no harm in it.
बंद करना है.
You
Okay,
will be
ma'am.
online, but I think it should not disturb with your work.
No, ma'am. It cannot
Yes.
be disturbed. After 1 o'clock, I
In
can
that
join the
case,
training.
you can continue the training. There is no problem.
Okay,
Now
ma'am.
we take the break and we'll meet at 10:20.
So, good morning, participants. Shall we start? Let me introduce myself. I am Ilana Verma, your facilitator for the session. Yes. So, in the first session, we had a wonderful discussion with Sonia ma'am, and she has covered most of the listening theory part. We have another session on listening theory. Here we discuss a bit more about what listening is and why it is important. So let's begin. This. Okay. So my video is visible. My PPT is visible to all of you, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So welcome to our team, first of all, because you are all newly inducted TGTs, and we are really glad to have you in our team. And today, what we are going to do, the pedagogy for the day is we will together work as a team. Together, everyone achieves more. And as I can see in the first session, you were very, interactive and discussing, sharing your ideas. It's really encouraging for me as well as a facilitator. So let's work as a team and let's move to the listening part. So here's a question on your screen. Which is the first and the foremost language skill that humans learn? Out of these four skills, which is the first and the foremost language skill that we humans learn?
Ma'am, listening.
Listening.
Anyone else?
It is
Anybody who
listening.
wants? Okay.
Listening,
So
ma'am.
everybody is convinced that it is listening, not speaking.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am. It
Maybe
is
as an
listening,
But
INSET,
ma'am.
ma'am, we just now learned that we hear in our initial years.
Years, not months, actually. So I think it could be speaking because the child blabbers, no?
Okay. Be speaking. Anybody else who would like to share?
During the previous session, ma'am, we were told that the listening skills, especially discriminative listening skills, developed in the womb only. So even before the child is born, he has developed some listening skills already. And when he listens, then gradually he
Wonderful.
starts repeating the same things.
Wonderful, Sangeeta. Thank you so much. It means the group is really listening, right?
Thank you so much,
So,
ma'am.
okay. I could not see the names of other participants, so don't feel bad. But I appreciate all of you for being a good listener. Now, here's another question on your screen with the same skills set. Let's put language skills according to the order we learn them. Okay, so as you all of you have said that listening is the first thing that we do. Uh, there is one person who shared that speaking is the first thing that we do, like blabbering and like a child blabber first. So before he starts blabbering, it starts with listening. He's listening, only then blabbering starts. So let us put language skills according to the order we learn them. So here are the skills. You can write in the chat box which skill we learn, the order. You can put them in the order of learning. Ritu ma'am, am I
Yes, ma'am.
audible now, Ritu ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So please write in the chat box which skill we learn first, then second, and then third and fourth, which is the last skill.
Okay, ma'am.
So Shruti Agrawal has shared listening, speaking, reading, writing, listening, speaking, reading, writing. Shweta has also shared. Okay, Sachin sir has shared listening. Listening is the first one, and LSRW, Samriti Tomar, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay, LSRW. All of you are convinced? Reading, then writing. First reading, then writing. Are you sure? Supriya, Arna. So many people are sharing in the group. That's great. Listening, speaking, reading, writing. Okay. Everybody is sharing listening, speaking, reading, and writing. I'm really glad that you made my work easier because this is the correct order. As you can see on your screen, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. This is the order of learning a language. Whichever language, be it English, be it Hindi, Japanese, French, or any other language of the world, we first listen and then we speak, then we read, start reading, and the last skill is writing. But what do we do in the classroom actually? How much listening is actually done? What should be the ratio of, what should be the ideal ratio to what, as per your, perception? What do you think? What is the ideal ratio of speaking time of a teacher and a student? How much a teacher should speak and how much a student should speak if you put that in percentage? Please. Okay, let me check. Give me a moment, please. Okay, is this better now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, it's better
Yes,
now.
ma'am.
Okay. So my question is, what should be the ideal speaking time in the classroom for a teacher and a student? If you can put in percentage, how much a teacher should speak and how much a student should speak?
Ma'am, actually, this ratio should be 50-50%, but We don't give much time to our kids because we are always in hurry to complete the lesson or the syllabus. It happens.
Okay. Yes, some teachers have shared, Samriddhi, Sunanda, Sachin. Many of you have shared that it should be 70-30, but here is a confusion. Samriddhi is saying that 30% a teacher should speak and 70% in Sunanda is saying that 70% a teacher should speak. So what is your perception? Rest of the participants, please share. Sachin has shared 30-70, but not mentioned that 30 is for whom? Like teacher or the student? 20-80, Sangeeta ma'am is sharing. 50-50, Rishi Meena. Okay. Okay. So if I can get some more ideas, teachers should give more space to students to speak. Yes, 60-40, 40-60. Okay. There is a little, there is we cannot come to a consensus. There are different, ideas are coming up. So let me just clear it. Let's see this next slide. Research findings prove that approximately half of our waking time is spent in listening. And when it comes to learning, we learn from listening, and that's the reason we expect our students to listen more. And that's why there is a confusion. We want our students to listen, and we by that time in while we are speaking, but we don't allow them. And there is a common phrase which you must have heard, अच्छे बच्चे कैसे मुंह पे उंगली ऐसे. कितनों ने सुना है? How many of you heard this?
I've heard it, ma'am.
All of us have heard that.
All of us. While when we were students, we heard that a lot, and when we became teacher, we used this phrase.
We use that. Yes, ma'am.
But if we truly assess when our teachers wanted us to keep quiet, how we felt. We wanted that please allow us to speak.
Yes, ma'am. We actually
Isn't
wanted to express ourselves. Yes.
Yes, and to some extent, it suppresses our, expression ability. I in the first session, Sonia ma'am was sharing that she is a very good listener, but when it comes to, expressing, she finds it a little bit of, it's a stress. If I ask you to express yourself, you have to think at least once or twice. Yes, how when I will get time to express myself. So this listening and speaking, why I'm discussing this, that listening and speaking are mutual skills. Without listening, speaking cannot happen. And you had a discussion on this in the previous session, that speaking, a good listener becomes a good speaker. And it's very rightly said that a good listener becomes a good speaker, but we can see the percentage also, that 45% of the time we are listening and 16% we are speaking. These are the research findings, it's not something created on my own. These are the research findings which proved that approximately half of our waking time is spent in listening. But we need to express ourselves, and this is a mutual skill. But before becoming a good speaker, we need to become a good speaker. Before we become a speaker, we need to become a good listener. And what is listening actually? We already had a discussion on this. What is listening? Listening is the process of receiving, constructing meaning from, and responding to a spoken and non-verbal message. Here you can see two pictures. Can you predict what these two girls are at, like what they would be thinking? A girl in the red dress she's showing thumbs up. What do you think? What she would be, doing?
Is enjoying music.
Yes, she may be enjoying music. She may have received a call from her family or friend, which makes her happy. She may have received a good news of getting admission to some college or getting job. It could be something. So we also respond, we also listen to the non-verbal messages. Like in the other picture, picture number 2, where the girl is holding a red cup in her hands. So, yes, Sunanda, it could be all well greeting someone. Maybe somebody is asking her, how is she? So she may be responding to that person. And in the other picture, you can see this girl is listening something which makes her look depressed. Yes, Sunanda, that's really that's true. So we also listen to the non-verbal signs in our classroom, in our daily routine, in our life. Sometimes a person is, laughing and smiling so much, but we ask, something wrong with you? Is there something wrong? Are you all right? So sometimes people, we try to understand the meaning behind the intuitive learning. We intuitive listening, we call it. If I don't know how many of you seen the movie in which the mother and father were deaf and the girl was able to speak. She sings a song for them. It's a Bollywood movie. I don't remember the name exactly. That ये दिल सुन रहा है तेरे दिल की जुबान. So the parents and the girl. Oh, thank you, Sunanda. That was Khamoshi. Yes. So that in that song, that because the girl was able to speak, and but she is sharing that I am able to listen to you. But the fact is that parents are not able to speak; they are dumb. But the girl understands what they want to speak, what they want to share. So listening happens when we are not uh, speaking through using words. Even non-verbal messages, we try to listen them. So because purpose, objective, and development of listening as a skill in the classroom is already discussed with Sonia ma'am. So I am not taking much of much discussion on this. So the purpose is, as you all have discussed, to gain new information, to quest and test evidence and assumptions, to be inspired. We listen to music, talks that inspire us, to improve communication and understand what the other person is saying. And for a student, if we say it's a good, being a good student, listen for the other person's talents and interests and listen actively. This is the purpose. And because this part also you have discussed at length, I'm not taking this types of listening. So let's come to the next part. What do you think? Here is a question on your screen. Like other skills, does listening also require practice? What do you think? Does listening require practice?
Yes, ma'am. I think we need practice to listen because sometimes we engrossed somewhere or the other in our deep thoughts, and that time we find ourselves unable to listen properly.
Okay. Anyone else?
People like me have lack of patience, so I think we need to work on that.
Yes, we are more into talking, and especially because we are teachers, we are more into talking, right? So it's very difficult for us to stay quiet for a longer period. I really appreciate your patience, everyone, here that you are listening to me with patience. And so, what do you think that listening requires practice? What does it mean, and how can we, do it in the classroom? How can we provide students listening practice, and how do you actually do this in your class? What do you think? Well, how it should be like, how you do, how you help your students in developing listening skills? Do we really spend time on it?
Ma'am, yes, it does require practice, but I think we don't often do much about it in the classrooms.
Okay. And Sunil Kumar sir has shared by interesting stories and poems we can create interest. Okay. So, Sunil sir, I would like to know that these interesting stories will be shared by the teacher or the students. What do you think?
Ma'am, may I share something?
Yeah, please. It's
Ma'am,
your forum.
we have done this activity many a times in the class and response has been very good. Like if I initiate the process, if I speak something, I ask the students, if I speak a sentence and I speak the students to catch any word out of it, and then they can speak a meaningful sentence on that. They can start, they can include that word in that sentence, and then all the students need to complete this process, and this becomes a very good listening and speaking exercise for the students.
Great, great. That's very good, Samiksha. Because our objective is not to, we is what you actually are today is 100% given by your teachers, or is this something that you developed on your own? What do you think?
Hello,
Yes, ma'am. Please, boliye,
ma'am.
Samiksha. Yes.
Hello,
Yes, yes, yes. I'm listening.
ma'am. There can be one more way. We should do loud reading in the classroom,
Hmm.
and we should ask any of the student to read out the chapter
Hmm.
and ask other student to be attentive. And at any moment, we can say that you sit down and
Hmm.
ask any student. Now you read.
Okay. So, Sunanda, it can be a good exercise, but I would
Yes, ma'am.
suggest that when we are we are taking this to in the classroom, we should
Yes.
prepare some questions beforehand so that we also listening comprehension check. That is very important. That what they are listening, whether they are able to comprehend that or not, is equally important. So if a student is, speaking loud if we are, following loud reading in the classroom, or
Yes, ma'am.
we are narrating a story or some, Sunil sir has shared that we should, narrate interesting stories in the class. So when it comes to narrating stories, it also, like, it is very important that we have some ready questionnaires. Otherwise, we won't be able to know whether the students were taking interest in the, or have they comprehended or not. Like when we generally ask, did you understand? And the student says yes, right?
Yes,
But
ma'am.
how many of the students actually understand? To check that, we have to prepare some questions, keep some questions handy. Sunil Kumar sir is aptly said, asking surprise questions between the session.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Sonal has shared active participation of students in a communicative way. And okay, Rishi Kumar Meena ji has shared that both can, by the teacher and both by interesting stories and poems, as Sunil said. So, students can also share some stories, and we'll be discussing in the next session some practical strategies and aspects of you know how we can actually develop listening in the classroom. So because it is very important aspect and the first and foremost skill which one should practice, because everything, all the learning is based on this, right? So if we are not a good listener, if uh, in today's scenario, if I say, we generally use this term that people are on but are not online. They turn on their they turn off their video, they turn off their mic, they are there in the meeting, but they're not listening, they're not actually in the meeting. So it happens with students. Many a time students do this, and it has been observed. I'm not saying that everybody is doing it, but many a time students try to avoid, taking interest in the online class. And you would be facing it if any of you are taking this, online sessions. So you would be having it like some of students do not respond when you ask them something. So it is very important that we keep asking questions during the sessions so that they are connected with us and they are getting opportunity to share. If it is a one-way session, then the students will try to avoid. If we as an adult there is a research that many of you are aware of TED platform, TED Talks. The most of the TED Talks are of 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and maximum 20 minutes. The speakers did not give any speaker more than that time. The reason is that we don't have that much of attention span, right? And the students have more, like less attention span than we have. So we have to keep them in the, to keep their interest alive. We need to ask questions in between the sessions, in between the stories. And it is very important that we ask questions to make the connection also. So there are some few things that need to be practiced on the part of the student, which we can guide them that you should follow these steps to maintain, like develop listening skills. We can guide them, and here it is. These are the efforts which are required by the student, that they should concentrate, pay attention to the teacher, and do not let the mind to wander. Like they have to work on that, because a concentration is something that we are uh, we are apt to it is quite common, we wander. Like when I was sharing the song, many of you shared that this is the name of the movie, this is the name of the artist, and for a moment you must have gone to that movie, and you must be visualizing when you watched that song or that movie. So it is quite easy. But then you come back, you remind yourself that we have to be in the session and I am to come back there. So it can be done with a bit of practice, and we have to tell our students that if you wander, don't get distracted, come back, remind yourself, right? And then preparation, gather information on perceived difficult topics and remove distractions in the environment. That this is required on the part of the student, that they, if generally we tell students that in the tomorrow we will be discussing about the grammar portion, or we will be discussing tenses, or we will be discussing voice, active voice, passive voice. So they should come a little bit of preparation, so that when you discuss in the classroom, they are a bit aware of what they are going to talk about. Then show interest, look attentive, and use non-verbal cues such as eye contact, nods, smile. So if you are understanding in the online session, what we do? So you unmute yourself, yes, or sometimes you write it in the chat, like whatever what you are, what is your response. So you are sharing there. Then listen for the whole message. Comprehend both verbal and non-verbal communication, such as voice intensity, body movements. This is very important on the part of the learner. Like sometimes we use Shipra ma'am we'll talk about it after some time. After this session, we have a break. So during that time, I'll answer your question. So by the time, let us discuss this. But like it is very important what kind of non-verbal communication we are using in the class. They should comprehend what teacher is trying to say through voice intensity and body movement also. And then empathy, put yourself in the speaker's shoes. This will help you to better understand what the speaker is trying to say. So empathetic listening, we already discussed in the previous session. Empathy is something very important for in our general life also. It is very important that we give a kind, hearing to our friend or family. So it is an important aspect of listening, that having patience. One of you have shared that I lack patience. So it is important that we have that. And we teachers have to practice it a bit more. Listening before evaluating. At times we become judgmental. Like we we create an idea about the speaker, and we sometimes take a lot of interest even if the speaker is not sharing something very relevant. And at times we become like we show disinterest when we are not aware of the speaker, what that speaker can bring for us. So we should not evaluate beforehand, and we should rather listen and then make our viewpoints. And then next is note taking. This is very important for the students. And with note taking, these days we are using mind mapping. That is also a very important aspect of note taking. And we should also teach our students. um, One of the teacher from KV has prepared that mind maps of all the chapter of class 10, and that I shared with some teachers also. So the whole chapter comes at a glance. It is there. Who are the who is the protagonist? Who are the other characters in the story? And what is the whole narrative is all about. So this is very important that students take notes while you are teaching, and also make mind maps. Not spending so much of time on writing the sentences, rather keeping it very precise. And then paraphrasing is also very important. Just simple restating what other person has said in your own words. Like what is how many of you are aware of paraphrasing? Have you heard of paraphrasing? In the next session, we will use this paraphrasing, where you will be paraphrased for my session and what I have discussed, what strategies and pedagogies I have discussed, that you will be sharing, any two of you. So be prepared for that, that you have, there will be we'll be having an exercise at the end of the second session. And last is body language, as I have said earlier, that maintaining positive body language, upright posture, eye contact with the speaker is very important. But because we are in the online, in the previous session also you were discussing about this with Sonia ma'am, where you were sharing that it is very important that we should be visible to our speakers. And in the online, it is connection breaks because we cannot see all of you. So we are solely and totally dependent on listening and hearing the voice of the speaker. So it is very important that we be attentive with body language also. And what do you think, that teacher has some role in this or not? What is your like we have
Definitely.
discussed yes.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. It begins with the teacher only, so it flows towards the students the way teacher starts.
Very right, ma'am. And let's discuss some of the points which, as a teacher, we should take care of. The teacher needs to have clarity of thought and purpose. So, what I wanted to teach my students, and what is the purpose, we should have a very clear ideas, and that's why we stress on lesson planning in the All of you have TDCs in your school. Are you aware of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So TDCs, we had LIC 3, Learning Improvement Cycle number 3, in which we discussed about lesson planning. And that lesson planning was very, very much different from what we did in B.Ed and teacher training courses. It is just like preparing a pre-activity, a while and post-activity. 3 points should be there. It should not be a lengthy lesson plan, but a brief idea of what I'm going to do in the class. It should be right in 3 to 5, 7 points. The number of points can be decided by the teacher, but it can be as minimum as 3 points. How I'm going to start, how I'm going to, during the session, during the lesson, how I will be and what I will be doing and how I'm going to conclude. And the teacher should be clear about what is to be conveyed to the learners. Everything should be on the tips, like what is needed, what is the supporting material I would be required in the lesson. Sometimes it happens with us also that we are in the classroom and then suddenly we got an idea of the activity and we need colors for that or we need sheets for that, and then we send the child to the go and bring papers and colors from a locker. So we should be aware and have everything with us, what is to be conveyed to the learners and what I would be needing in the process. Then third is needs to communicate the message in a lively and stimulating manner which will capture the attention of the learners. So it should be lively and stimulating. These are the key words which we have to keep in our mind. So if the class is not lively and stimulating, students will lose the interest. The teacher should try to empathize with the learners, which we discussed in the previous slide also, that empathy is a very important aspect. Maybe a child is having some problem and we want them to, do the activity which I am taking, but the child is having fever or some other problem, stomachache, headache, and the child is not able to, perform in that activity. So we should be empathetic with that in that scenario. And the teacher should modulate his delivery to retain the attention of the learners. So if the voice modulation is especially very important with the listening skills, because how we modulate, it will depend on how the child will speak. So here, how we are expressing, and it is very important in that case, and it also retains the attention of the learners. So if you're not taking pause, if you're not putting stress on some particular word, this is quite possible that the children will deviate from the class. And last and very much important, which I truly, try to practice myself and request other teachers also, that create opportunities for low stakes practice. What is low stakes? Can you, any of you, share? Or do you understand what is low stakes and high, the opposite of high stakes? So have you ever heard this low stakes, high stakes word, phrase? Have you ever heard it? Yes or no? You can write in the chat box also, Y or N.
I have never
Ma'am,
heard.
yeah.
Okay. So let me explain this for you. Low stake is something that you must have heard. Reputation stake per hai uska. Reputation on stake. This is quite commonly we hear. Stake is where, or respect is in consideration. Like many of you are sharing, but some of us, when we are sitting in a in a group, we are afraid of, there is a fear in our mind that in expressing our ideas, what we are thinking, we try to keep it to ourselves because there is a fear that people will be judgmental about me. The teacher can be judgmental of me. So this is called stake. The high stake is where your reputation is on, stake, that where other students may be, mock on my answer, they'll make fun of me. So we have to create opportunities where every student is, expressing, and there should be an environment where students are motivated to speak, and they should be assured about this, that your whatever you are sharing, nobody will mock on that. And I also, you know, uh, we can call it acceptance. In other words, we call it acceptance. I accept whatever you are sharing. It may be wrong, but even if you are wrong, you will not be mocked upon. It is your viewpoint and it is respected. And at times we are also afraid of making mistakes. So students should feel comfortable that what they are, language is something which we take for granted many a times. In mathematics, we do a lot of practice. But in language, we take it granted and we think that it doesn't need any practice, and it is natural, it comes naturally to us. So we have to create opportunities where students can practice and make mistakes. They should not feel fear in making mistakes. They should know that if we are making mistakes, if I have made any mistake, I will be corrected. So this is called low stakes, and high stake is where students are not comfortable. They are afraid. They feel like if I make a mistake, I am not accepted in the classroom or the group. So this is very important for a teacher, because how much a student has listened is to be checked through listening, through speaking only. So they have to speak. If you have after this session, what you have learned, what you have understood, if I wanted to know, I want some of you or one of you to speak and share. Okay, so the child will never speak and you will not be able to, judge or know how much he has or she has learned. So create an opportunities or environment, and how it can be done, we will learn about it in the next session. So we will practice listening, but for that we have to take a break of 15 minutes. It's 11 now. This is time to, conclude this session here itself. And in the third session, we'll be meeting after 15 minutes. It's a break time for you. You can have your tea or whatever you want. So we'll be meeting at 11:15. I will be the facilitator in the third session also, and we'll be discussing about the practical aspects and some practical activities and strategies, pedagogies, which can be helpful in the development of listening in the classroom. And by the time you take a break, I talked to Shipra was, I guess, Shipra, no? Yes, Shipra Anand. Yes, ma'am. You can unmute yourself, and what is your problem you can share with us?
Hi, ma'am. Actually, I'm enrolled in the evening batch, but somehow I couldn't get the link. Some of my friends provided me with this morning batch thing, and so I thought it would be better if I joined it right here. My question is, is this the same link with which we are supposed to join in the evening time?
Okay. Diet Rajendra Nagar, there is someone with us from Diet Rajendra Nagar. Can you please help us? Can you answer the query by Shipra ma'am? Shipra, I'm not exactly sure about this, whether the link will be same for evening batch. Give me some time. I just, after the break, when we will meet, I'll answer your query. Meanwhile, I'll...
Ma'am, actually, I'm on fields right now. I am also into COVID survey duty. So I'm doing that simultaneously, and then I'll have to keep a check here also. So I just, quickly wanted to know, what to do.
I have to make some
I
call.
don't have the link. Yeah.
I got your point. I need to make some calls to
I
address
also
your
have some
query.
query.
Okay, who is this?
Ma'am Samiksha, I am also having some query, ma'am. The link will be same for tomorrow also, or there will be so much of
No, no,
chaos
no. The
like
link will be same for 10 days in
same
a
for the
go.
10.
Like all days, you will have the same link, and from this
Thank
link,
you.
you will be joining in the morning. Shipra, I just raise your query in the group and get back to you after 15 minutes. Okay? So at
So
11:15 we are
ma'am,
meeting.
would it be better if I join back in 15 minutes because I have to, do that duty also.
You do it
With
and get
Yeah,
you can, ma'am.
yeah,
And
sure.
join us back after 15 minutes. I'll address your query meanwhile. Right?
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Sangeeta ma'am has already answered your query. Link is different for different sessions. No, is this a question, Sangeeta?
No, this is the answer because yesterday only a circular was released in which four, five different links were given, and I joined using modeling link. I think I'll just share the same in the group. I'll just share. For evening, we have a different link.
Okay. So if you
Sangeeta, it
have
would be
that,
a big favor if you can please forward this circular on my number. I can leave my number on the chat box. It would be a great help for me. Please.
Sure, I'll do that. Can I share this in our group, this on Telegram
here
group?
also, here also you can share in the chat.
I'm afraid I'm not part of any group either. I have recently joined a group. The URL of which was given in the circular of training. I typed it myself and then I joined it. But nobody is responding there also, and so yeah, I'm here.
So
I'll share
Shipra,
the
you can share your number and Sangeeta will
Yeah.
help you in this. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah, I'm leaving my number in the chat box. Sangeeta, please drop me a message with the circular. Yeah.
I'll do that. I'm just doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay. After, we'll be meeting at 11:15.
हाँ बोल। नीचे जाया पॉजिटिव गया।
Excuse me, ma'am. There is a network issue, ma'am. This is not audible.
Nobody is speaking, Ritu ma'am. It's a break time. You can enjoy your break. We'll start in 2 minutes. Okay, good morning, friends. Shall we start? Are you back?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
Okay. So, this session is about practical aspect of listening. What could be the practical ideas and strategies which we can use in the classroom?
Ma'am,
So
sorry to interrupt, but not at all audible. Is it the problem
we'll
that
be
none of
sharing
the
some
faces?
activities which may be helpful, and you can add yours also. This is not the end of the world. This is not the sole activity which can be taken in the classroom, but there can be many others. So I'll be discussing some of them and we'll practice some of them also. Okay. So can you see the PPTs? Is this visible to you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So right. So we will work on some classroom strategies that work in the development of listening skills. So the first one is before we start, listening is a skill that many is not. Okay. So listening is a skill that many teachers overlook when teaching students. And we also, but like you would agree on this, that we as a teacher many a times overlook this. We focus on, speaking, we focus on reading and writing, but listening, we assume that it happens on its own and we do not, give enough practice of listening in the classroom. So we are we'll be discussing about some strategies because it is very important as without listening, speaking cannot happen, and it should be explicitly taught and developed. So what activities we'll be discussing will require very little preparation and almost no extra material, and at the same time they are very beneficial and interesting for the students. In this we will cover 6 main areas. We will cover some warm-up activities: listen and draw, listen and react, listen and correct, listen and answer, listen and retell. And some activities we will model also. So we will begin with the listening warm-up activity. The last one, standing in the classroom, we can tell the students to stand, and here we give them practice of listening for some specific words, and for this purpose we can choose a song or a rhyme, and here and from that song or like rhyme, you can choose some words and give them in a write them on the blackboard or show them, like if you are taking it online, so you can show the students. Here you can see that in the yellow circle there are in the yellow oval there are some words which is from a poem, which is from a rhyme, and you have to choose one word, any one word, and you just have to mark numbers, and with largest number who will be the winner. So this can be taken in the online mode also. I would like this to practice with all of you. So I request all you to choose one word from this oval, yellow oval. Choose one word, write it on a paper, and the moment I'll play this rhyme, you will be noting down the number of times your selected word is appearing in the song. So have you selected your word?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You can share in the Ritu. Are you able to listen to me? Am I audible? Okay. So Anu was saying that this is not audible, not audible.
You're audible, Lila
So
ma'am.
choose one word from this oval, and I will be playing a song, and you have to mark the number of times your the chosen word is appearing in this. So whatever you have selected, you just write it on a paper, and you can open your videos and let me see where have you written that. I would like to see your videos. Okay. Let me see. Please open your videos and let me see which word have you chosen. Tarundeep Kaur,
Yes, ma'am.
Satya, Anu. Okay. Show. Right. Okay. अक्षत अक्षत इसका चार्जर तो बड़े वाले लैपटॉप का यहाँ पर, अच्छा यहाँ रखा है. Okay. So now I'm going to play the song and count your word. Okay. So, can you share how many times the chosen word appeared in this? It is possible that it doesn't appear at all. Do you like to share, any one of you?
Ma'am, the audio is not audible.
Ma'am, it did not play. Yes, I didn't hear a thing.
Okay. You and none of you.
Yes, ma'am, it's not audible to me.
No.
Oh,
No, ma'am.
am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Then
Audible.
it should work. Let me see. Computer for audio settings are just fine. Okay, let me check why it doesn't work. Can you hear it now?
No, ma'am. It's visible, but it's not audible.
Okay. It is showing that the voice is connected. I don't know why it is not, audible. Okay, let's not waste our time because we are already we have so much to discuss. Let's move to the other other activities. So there is another warm-up listening activity in which we can create categories of like we can divide the students in groups and we can give them speak the words from that category. Suppose the children are from fruits category will speak the fruit names. Vegetable group will speak about the vegetables names. Colors group from colors. Similarly, birds and animals and many other groups which you can decide which you want. So, and as a reward or as a motivation, we can give them some stakes or toothpick, colors, etc. Which who is collecting the most pieces will be the winner. So, I'll share this PPT with all of you through the Telegram group, and you will be able to, see which activity works for you. So first category was listening warm-ups. I've shared 2 or 3 activities in each category. There can be more than this, and these activities can be improvised also as per your comfort and need. Then there is telephone game which we have played, but this is because these are the it's online times. So these are the online times. So we cannot practice this. But in offline class, it works like amazing. And then it is listen and draw. So what we will be doing, we will be giving them instructions and students will be drawing the picture and they will compare with other students and what they have drawn. So this we can do, and for this we need you need to keep a paper and pen with you. You will be drawing as per the instructions I will be giving. So I guess all of you have paper. I'm going to give you some instructions and you will be creating them, please. Okay, we'll do that. Listen to the instructions carefully and draw as per the instructions. So you have to draw 4 boxes, big boxes on the sheet. These boxes should be big enough so that in which you can draw a picture. Give numbers to the boxes 1, 2, 3, 4. Some participants are sharing to add their numbers in the group, a Telegram group, which I am not sure how can I help you in that. Sunita ma'am and some other teacher has shared. I think Diet Rajendra Nagar representative is here with us. I think they may be able to help you in that. Okay, let's come back to the activity. You have to draw 4 boxes and these boxes should be enough big so that you can draw pictures in it, and you have to number the boxes 1, 2, 3, 4, small number on the left side corner of the box. In box number 2, draw a star with moon. In box number 2, draw a star with moon. In box number 1, draw a cat besides a tree. draw a cat besides a tree in box number 1. In box number 4, draw children playing with a ball. In box number 4, draw children playing with a ball. Children you can draw by using line diagrams, line pictures. And in the box number 3, you have to draw a table and there is 2 cups of tea kept on it. Now you can open your videos and show everyone what you have drawn. And let's see how similar or different your images are from each other. Open your videos and okay, Tarundeep Kaur has showed, Anu has drawn, good, nice. And you can see the images drawn by your friends. Okay. Ritu Tyagi, Samriddhi, Tomar, Sunil Kumar sir. Okay, Tanvi. Right. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Okay. Okay, good. Cool. So these are very simple activities, very simple things, and these are, we don't need, your students don't need so much of material for doing these activities. Ritu, you want to share something? Am I audible now? Okay. Am I audible now? My voice is clear now?
Your voice is clear. Yes.
Okay. 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 So another activity is listen and draw is reach your friend's house, in which we describe the way we describe, this is like showing the way to reach your place, and we can do this activity in pairs also, and it can be done with the large group also, that one person is narrating their residence, and accordingly rest of the class will be drawing the map. In this like we can do this activity here itself. So let's take another page, and I will be giving you some instructions. Write A, big A on the paper. Here, it is very important to tell that this A is should be on the north side, means on the top of the paper, because in that this is very important, because only then they will be able to draw the same kind of a picture or image. So the A should be on the center of and the top of your paper. From there, you will move towards, move downwards for around two, like A is where you are standing right now, and you have to reach B. B should be at the, in the end of the sheet, at the end where your paper. On the top there should be A, and at the bottom it should be B. On the right side, write C. Right edge of your paper should write C. On the left side edge of your paper, write D. In the middle, at any place, you can write E, F, and G. From A, draw a line and go to D. Now, move towards your right and go to F. From F, move again towards your right and go to C. From C, move towards your left side and go to G. From G, move downwards towards B. From B, now again go to D. And move to F. From F, you have to go to C. The objective of this is that how attentive the students are, what drawing comes out of it is not that important, and what like in the previous activity what we have done, the images are not that important, how they are drawing, how beautiful they draw. We have to appreciate that what they are listening and what they are doing. So there are various such activities and describe and do, in which we demonstrate like a procedure, like how to make a fried egg, how to bake a cake, how to play a rock paper scissors, how to do a magic trick, how to tie your laces, how to dial a phone number, address a letter, open a computer program, and many other action based step by step, in which students have to narrate each other and the other one has to demonstrate by following the instructions. So these are the things which can be done in this, and then listen and reenact the dialogue, in which we play the dialogue several times and ask students, we stop the playing the dialogue and tell the students to try and role play the dialogue and see how effectively they are able to express that dialogue. So there are some activities like this. A Simon Says activity is very, famous, very commonly that Simon says clap your hands, Simon says sit down, Simon says stand up. So these are the commands can be given, and students will act or according to the commands. So there are some such activities. There's a list of activities. We will share about these you'll get this PPT and get the whole bunch of activities. And one more activity which I wanted to share with you is in which we can practice English with movies. There are some websites I have given in this PPT, this slide, which can be of very which can be helpful. And for this, I'll show you this learn practice with movies. I guess this slide is is this visible to you? Shall I share it?
Yes, ma'am, this is visible.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's okay. So now this is the website which I wanted to share with you. This is Exciting English, and English. Something else is opened here. Let me take you to YouTube. Okay, this is the page. This is Exciting English has so many videos based on movies. They have taken some clips. Some very short videos are there. This, as you can see, I am going to play this for you. I don't know why the sound is not. Can anyone help me with this? How can I share the sound? Because
Hila ma'am,
yes.
in case you're using the earphones, unplug them and try playing the audio.
Can you explain once again, ma'am?
अगर आप if you're using some earphones, just unplug them and now
Okay.
play your audio audible.
Okay. Thank you, Priyanka. I did that. Let me check. Is this so this is a clip from Stuart Little, and is this audible now?
It is audible and not very clear, but yes, we can hear a bit.
I'm having the full volume. So this was the clip. This is the part where the clip was played without any titles. And now the part 2 is the same clip will be played with titles, and you can check how much you were able to understand the that part. And now the third part is keywords. In this conversation, there were some words which are important for the students to understand. So the part 3 is keywords. Now the fourth part is original clip will be played again, and students will try to now listen and understand what the speaker is saying. Okay, so they have so many videos. This is other, you can see that this is lesson number 130. So they have more than 150 videos of movie clips, which are like very interesting for the students, and they would be able to listen. Then they can read the script, and again when they listen the same video to the same video, they are able to listen it better. They'll be able to understand it better. So do you also feel like that, or is this just my assumption? Would you like to share, any one of you? Do you think it will work with the students?
Yes, ma'am, definitely it's going to make a difference in their understanding.
Right. So there is so much of stuff available on this is I've shared the link, and so many videos are there. I chose the shortest one, so you can use it with your students. And then there is another site. This is of British Council. They have so many podcasts available, and which helps in uh, checking the comprehension of the students. And for this, if you go down, you will find uh, skills. For all the skills, there is stuff, because we are talking about listening. I'll be showing you that only, but there are activities for other development of other skills also. So let's see what is there in listening. You will find there are levels. For beginner level, A1 listening, elementary A2, intermediate B1, and similarly it goes to up to C1 level. And let's take the beginner level. Yeah. So they have covered some topics, and some general topics, and on the basis of these topics, they have given some comprehension checks in this. So let's take describing people, and here two girls are sitting, and they will be talking to each other and about something. After we play this video, there are some questions. Check your understanding in multiple questions and gap filling types. And there you will find worksheets and downloads also, and the transcript of this conversation. So let me just play it. We'll check our comprehension. So we can take any of these topics. So like at first day at the school. I guess that the first video was not as making me comfortable.
Yeah, ma'am, we are not able to hear the audio you're saying.
Now check your understanding. There are some questions. Zing and Tanya are in the same class. True or false? You can write your answers in the chat box because you're not able to access it right now. Okay, so okay. Not audible. नहीं आ रहा उससे join. Not audible. Aren't you able to hear me?
No, Ila ma'am, that's what I mentioned. We are not able to hear the audio you play.
Okay. That video was audible.
Ma'am, even that was not very clear.
Okay. I don't know why it is, giving me trouble. Am I audible now? Is this better?
You are audible, ma'am, but not the audio files or the videos that you're playing.
Okay. I don't know why it is not better. Now I have also removed the, headphones, as you said. Is there any other way? Like, I don't know why it is. Is this audible now? Can you hear about the video?
Not very clear.
No, video is not audible.
Oh my God, I don't know what. Can you help me? Any one of you help me in the with the settings? What's the problem? I'm not able to understand.
You could check.
Anyway, let me. I'm not able to, find where should I go for the settings because, like, I am connected with the audio system of my computer, but I don't know why it is not working. I'm so sorry for this botheration because without sound, he's listening and is really impossible without sound. And if anyone can help me in this.
Ma'am, could you check the volume settings of the audio and your
Volume is, Priyanka, volume is 100. And
for the audio also?
yeah, audio also. And I'm using computer for audio, so I don't know why it is calling me. Let me just. No, won't work that way, no. Mm,
Ila ma'am, just a suggestion. If you could, Ila ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes. Am I audible?
Ila ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so sorry for this glitch because I'm not able to understand why it is creating, issue.
Ma'am, just a suggestion. If you can play
Is
the
this
video.
working? Is this working?
No, ma'am, it's not audible.
I'm so sorry for this because when we play this video, there is some information in this video, and on the basis of that, there are some questions like check your understanding, true, false. These are based on this audio clip, and there are some questions. After you finish, they also rate you.
right? So, like it was true, false, false. Like I'm just clicking it. Okay. So you can see that they are. It is giving you the score also. How many questions are correct and how many are not correct, right? And then here the correct answers also. So these kind of listening exercises we can give our students, and again then there is check your understanding recording. So here is the script of this conversation, and we have to put them in order. Put the conversation in order, like what the girls were talking, we have to put them, select and put it in the order. So this way it can be done, and then when you finish you get the scores. So these kind of activities are given on this British Council page, and then there are worksheets, exercises are there, PDFs are there, which you can download also and give your students for practice. And there is transcript of what is being given in this conversation. So there are so many such activities on this British Council page, which can be given to our students. Like these are very common things: introducing a friend, inviting someone, and like getting an identity card. There are so many such ordering of food in a cafe. So these are the things. I'm sharing the link which you can click and explore it on your own. I'm so sorry because the sound is not supporting, and otherwise I would have discussed it in a far better way. Then there is a Miracle Fun Box. It has 14 apps. One is this first one, the English listening and speaking. This app you can download from Play Store, and this is one of the amazing apps for developing listening and speaking in the students. Every day they post some activities, and because I have to connect to phone, which is not possible for me to do it right now. Otherwise, you just download this app. The symbol is E, and this wearing this headphones. So you can just check with this Miracle Fun Box. I've also shared this in the chat box. That's on a slide of resources from where you can find it. It is amazing app, and you can tell your students to download it and practice it every day. It is they'll enjoy it a lot. And then this is not the end of the world. We have so many other apps which can be helpful. One of them is englishcentral.com, EFL Classroom, Breaking News English, in which the news reading is done, and on that basis they attempt some questions. And then there is Jolly Phonics, which talks about phonetic sounds, and so many such apps are there. Maybe you know much more than me, and this is what I find useful for my classrooms, and that's why I'm sharing with you. With this, we reach to the end of our class session today. Thank you so much, teachers, for bearing with me. I know there were some glitches, which I'm sorry for that, because I could not give you that practice of listening. But thank you for being the kindest and empathetic and patient listener with me. So we have a break of 10 minutes, after which Sonia ma'am will continue with you. So Thank you so much. I will be sharing this PPT with you so that you can get all the resources and the activities and you can explore on your own. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
So much, ma'am.
We will be meeting at 12:15 now.
हेलो हेलो
जी सर।
हेलो।
हेलो मैम, अभी 10 मिनट्स का ब्रेक है एक्चुअली।
हाँ यस मैम, आई डोंट, कोई बोल रहा था, कोई पार्टिसिपेंट बीच में शायद बोल रहा था।
हाँ जी, दैट्स व्हाई यू रिप्लाई।
खाना खा रहा हूँ। खाना खा रहा। हाँ। वो नहीं बना। ऐसे मत कर। खाओ। लेकिन अभी बनी बोले ना समझो मेरे को पता नहीं यहाँ पर
Hello. Hello.
Ma'am.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Can we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. As we had already talked in the morning about listening skills, you remember? How is listening different from hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Now we're going to take the practical aspect of it. Why listening is important. As it is said, now I will do anything, I will do nothing but listen. The more listening practice one gets, the better understanding one has of the target language, be it your own home language, second language, or a foreign language. Unfortunately, the most neglected skill of the four skills is listening. Have you ever thought about it in your classes? How much is given to listening? How much importance is given to listening? Because most of the time, to support our children, we are talking in Hindi so that they understand better. Don't you think that? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Most of the time we are talking in Hindi, and we do not give our children time to think about how it can be helped in listening, how listening helps in their preliminary or another skill. Isn't the teacher talking in English or listening for students?
Yes, ma'am, it is in a way.
It's in a way, I think it's very important for the child to listen to the teacher speaking in English. Unless until they hear her speaking, how are they going to learn? But we try to neglect this part in our teaching practices. What is not a listening activity? Just see these. Having too many and lengthy pre-listening activities, grammar-based questions, vocabulary development questions, follow-up questions, preparing for speaking. What is not a listening activity? Can I get a response, please? Anji?
Ma'am, pre-listening activities?
Yeah, preparing for speaking actually. What is not a listening activity?
Okay, ma'am.
Now we have like each activity provide a lot of listening practices. You have to tell me whether yes, sort of, no, or not really. 4 students, one in each corner of the room, are reading a list of their 10 favorite foods and drinks. The remaining students move to each corner in any order they want to listen and write down each reader's list. What do you think? Is it a listening practice, sort of, or not really?
Sort of.
Sort of.
How can you say it's sort of?
Yes, ma'am, it is a listening activity.
How can you say that?
Because it's not properly, it's not being done properly. The students are walking in any order, and probably it's not even planned this way.
They're reading a list of 10 favorite foods and drinks, no? So how are they listening? They're reading mostly. 4 students, one in each corner of the room, are reading a list of their favorite foods and drinks. And the remaining students move to each corner in any order they want to listen and write down each reader's list. So they are listening in a way, but not exactly, you know. Sort of, which you said is correct.
Yes, ma'am.
The teacher describes a scene, a park with trees, people, and benches. Students draw the scene as the teacher describes it.
It is the listening activity, ma'am.
This is a listening activity, and we do it quite often.
Yes.
To increase their listening power, we make them draw a picture. We'll do this in after some time. Students in pairs do a vocabulary matching activity on a handout. The vocabulary comes from the audio text they just listened to.
This is also a
It is
listening
listening
activity.
activity.
Yes, because they have listened to
They had already listened the audio because
audio text. Yes.
This is follow-up listening activity.
Yes. Then students listen to a song several times. They have a copy of the lyrics with some of the words missing, a gap-filled or close activity. Is this a
this is
listening
also a
activity?
listening activity.
Yes, because they have to catch those words which are missing from the song they have
Yes.
with them. Then students in pairs read a dialogue from the textbook out loud, each student taking on one role.
Yes, ma'am. This is also listening activity.
They are pairs, so one person has to listen to the other before they can start reading the next part, no? The teacher tells the class about something that happened on the way to school that morning. Is this a listening activity?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really. After students listen to an audio, the teacher asks the whole class comprehension questions. Students volunteer answers.
This is a listening activity.
Definitely a
Sort of.
listening
Yeah.
activity. Is reading comprehension different from listening comprehension? What do you say?
Listening
It is a
comprehension.
bit, it is a bit different actually.
How can you say that?
Uh, because while doing the reading comprehension, the students will be able to read the text that is given to them. And in a listening, they just have to be alert what they are listening, because the comprehension questions will be based on that only.
Yeah, definitely. And in reading comprehension, they can look back also.
They can look
And
back also, but while listening to it, they can't. They have to be alert while the text is being spoken or it is being played.
read out, yeah. Read out aloud, no?
Yeah,
So
right.
can we use the same text or questions list for both reading and listening?
It can be used as.
Why do you think that? Why do you think
I
that?
think for listening one, we need shorter questions.
Yeah.
Can we use the same text or questions for both reading and
No, no, no,
listening?
we can't. It would be a bit difficult
Why? Why can't we?
because the length of the passage depends, and the length of the question answer also.
Uh, yeah, it does make a difference, but if the length of the questions and answers also not that big, then do you think the reading of it and the listening of it can be the same?
Yes, ma'am, it can be.
Then it can be done. If the length is almost same, then it can be done.
Because comprehension is being done in both the cases.
Yeah, definitely. Now, a typical listening activity is students listen to a complete audio text and afterwards answer comprehension questions posed by the teacher. This is what is considered to be a typical listening activity. This model is probably based on how we use written text for reading comprehension. Read the article and answer the questions. But listening text, unlike the written word, do not remain unmoving in front of our eyes. Listening texts move past our ears in real time. They do not. आप देखते ही हो ना कि when we are reading, so the listening the text is in front of our eyes and we can see, and we can move our eyes from going further. We can move them back also. But in listening text, it comes in our ears and it just passes away. The student doesn't have the opportunity to go back, review a sentence or a word in the dictionary. Answering comprehension questions after an audio is a test of memory. The focus is on outcome, on product rather than process. It ignores the specific difficulties students may have experienced during the listening phase. What we used to have in our schools, we used to have listening activity for 9th and 10th. You must have heard about them. That
Yes,
we used to
ma'am.
have listening activities, but the activities were from English people. You know, the speaker was an Englishman or an English woman, so they used to speak in their accent, and it was not very clear for our students. And generally, what they used to do is either they used to see here and there, or they used to take whatever used to come to their mind, and they never used to bother even listening properly. But now it's said that listening activities should be mainly concerned with our own sort of accent, and our own background should be there, Indian background should be there, so that the children are familiar with it. Words stress strong and weak forms of words. Word contractions or monosyllabic words can be given for filling blanks. It is to be noted that words are often not pronounced the way they are spelled, that their pronunciation changes at times, even when spoken by a single person. Can you give me an example of such a word? Can you think of any word which is not pronounced as it is written?
Ma'am, read is pronounced in many different ways depending on the forms of verb we are using.
Yeah. Read is read also, R-E-A-D, but it's taken as read also and read also. Yes, very good. Any other word? When second language learners learn some new element of a language, we have to pay conscious attention and think about it. That takes time. But as the new element becomes more familiar, they process it faster. Until eventually the processing of that element becomes complete. Sorry, actually, I was doing something else also along with this. What is a good listening task? One with active responses occurring during the listening passage. Some examples where students listen and do simultaneously. Have you done Simon Says? Have you practiced that? Any of you?
Yes, ma'am, we have done it in the class, but not exactly in the same manner, in a different way we are.
Could you please tell everybody about it? How you've done it?
Ma'am, like we assigned different activities to different numbers. For example, if I say one, you need to raise your hands, two for laughing gestures and like that. So, and then we would speak the numbers randomly. The students need to be very attentive, like what they were supposed to do in
Okay.
that case.
Okay, okay. Simon Says 1, Simon Says 3, something like
Yes.
that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's nice. Anybody else? And picture dictation, what we were talking about earlier. You all have a
Picture
pen.
dictation, no, I haven't never tried picture dictation.
Do you all have a piece of paper with you and a pencil or a pen?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Then can we draw?
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Yes.
So we'll see that how effective it is as a listening activity. If we do it ourselves, maybe it'll help us better. So draw a circle. Make two eyes. One round, one square. Draw a line for a nose. Make one ear of an elephant. The other one of a donkey. Draw 3 strands of curly hair in the middle of the head. Have you all drawn?
Yes, ma'am.
Can anybody show it?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sharing this to make all of you laugh.
Yeah, very nice. Great. So like this, small words can be made to understand. Children learn faster and their listening also improves. Then sound bites, clips from movies, etc. They can be taken, repeated several times for them to repeat. Generally, what we do is when we are teaching them any song, they do not understand the meaning of it and they speak anything. Uh, Even we didn't know most of it correctly. And it's unless until we read it out, it's not very genuinely correct. So what we do is we make the children speak the song again and again so that they learn the words and they know the meanings also gradually. Filling missing words like I'd, you'll, etc. Then also follow the map, give directions on a map in a handout. Have you done anything like this? These are some of the activities I'm telling you. Yes, no, not sure, colored cards. Speak a couple of sentences, ask them to put up the cards if they could follow, not follow what was said. Like you are reading a story, and in between, if a child does not understand, that person can just put that card up so that you know that that person is not understanding and we can make it more clear. If lots of cards like that are up, we know that the class is not understanding the story we are delivering. We should make it short. The audio should be of a couple of seconds to a minute or two duration. When we are trying to ask them to listen to a sentence or a music or something, it should be very short. Try and make it as short as possible so that the children can hear and understand in that time. Play several times. You will need to play it several times and at least twice according to the task given. Have you ever tried out any such thing in the class? Have you ever tried out? Hello? Hello?
No, ma'am, not till now, but it's a good activity we are going to try now in our classes.
Okay, that's nice. Like, if you play it out, because generally children need to know all the accents. They need to understand anybody who's speaking to them. Even if they meet a foreigner, they should know how to understand their way of speaking. So if we give them a sort of a this thing, some sound from these songs and all which are foreign based, then they try and learn faster, and they are able to adjust to it much better if they start feeling that yeah, they know how to speak like that. So
Yes,
they'll
ma'am.
understand also. I think that is a very good thing that you get a piece of song from somewhere, or just a scene of a movie, a very short scene in which they can, just understand what is being said. So they'll love it and they'll start understanding, because later on in class 9th and 10th, they need to study so much, they need to understand so much that they definitely need that sort of a listening activity in their earlier years. Then variety of voices include a variety of voices, yours, students, another teachers, relatives, so that they get enough exposure. That's what I was telling you. Even foreigners, if they are speaking somewhere and you get that speech or something like that to make them listen, it becomes quite good for them to know that people speak in different ways. The same word can be spoken in different ways by different people. So they are able to understand better. Authentic texts, voices, clips, generally sounds of the speech of a president or something like that can be, recorded and played out in this class, and they need to know what has been said by that president. Like we have a chapter in class 10th, 9th, of one of the presidents. Do you remember?
I think it's in class 10, A Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela. We
Yeah,
have many speeches regarding that. Various speeches of Nelson Mandela are there.
yeah. And if you put it out for them and they're able to hear it, that will make it more interesting. Otherwise, the chapter is not that interesting for the children.
Yes, ma'am.
They find it very boring. I tried it in the class and they really were sleeping, most of them. Then I had to do something else for them.
Yeah.
So you can come up with certain other things like, sorry. Can we try out one of the activities? Hello.
Yes.
Have you ever tried out any of these activities? Any other?
Yes, ma'am. I have done one activity in my class. I ask all the students to close their textbook and ask only one student to read the lesson, and the other students are not supposed to see in their text. They just need to listen to the one reading carefully, and then randomly the questions comprehension check is done. So it helps really, because otherwise the students show that they are looking into the text, but usually they don't pay much attention.
Yes, that is a very good thing, and a very nice idea. I think everybody would love to do it in their classes also. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, ma'am.
Anybody else? No one? Can we make these cards? Yes, no, not sure. Right now? And we can ask the children to also have them with a stick, so that whenever they are not understanding anything, they can just put it up.
Yes, ma'am, we can do that also.
This helps a lot, because some children are very scared of speaking out. They don't want to say anything. But if they are told to just lift a card or something, they'll manage, I think.
That can also be done, ma'am. Yes.
Anything else? I think we'll wrap it up. What is a good listening task? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
There are hardly any. What do you think is a good listening task?
Where most of the students are engaged and respond.
Yes.
Take interest.
Definitely.
And able to comprehend the message, basically the when the connect is established and the right message is conveyed, that is the good listening task.
Yes, I would definitely say, but how do you make out that it is the right task for them? How can you make it out?
Ma'am, on the basis
It's
of
very
their
easy to
response,
say. Yeah?
on the basis of students' response.
Yeah, definitely. But do you think you get good responses in English classes?
At times we do get, depending on the class, ma'am. We don't get same responses in every class.
Okay. Actually, I found that in my class, students could understand, but when responding, they wanted to speak in Hindi. Basically, they just could not come up with the words that were in English. So they used to speak only in Hindi.
Yeah, it does happen in some of the classes as well.
Them communicate in English. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me how you can communicate with them in English? They are very hesitant of speaking in English. They always reply in Hindi, though they know the words, but they are very hesitant. How do you think we can help them build confidence?
Ma'am, actually, we should try to speak with our students in the same language what they want to use. And whenever we need to know that they have.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Hello.
Hello. Then we can tell them they have to speak in English whether they uh, speak correctly or incorrectly.
With small sentences, definitely it's possible.
Yes, ma'am. We can start with the short sentences.
Yes, ma'am.
A good rapport with students where they feel quite comfortable failing and making mistakes.
We have to motivate them during the class to speak in English all the time.
And the teacher also needs to speak in English only so that they can understand.
What are you saying, ma'am?
Ma'am, I'm saying the teacher also needs to speak in English that so that they can also understand and become habitual to speaking in the same manner.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Ma'am, you're audible.
Actually, I can't hear anything, so I'm feeling I could I could just make out that somebody is speaking, but I don't know what you were speaking. Hello.
Sonia ma'am,
Hello.
We are hearing you, ma'am.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I can't actually connect so well because this time I know I'm trying it on my phone and something or the other is cropping up. Your sound is not that clear to me. Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
So we were talking about what is a good listening task.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'd asked you all that our children do not speak English so fluently as we want them to speak. And gradually what happens is we also lose touch of it. मेरे साथ तो ये हुआ है, like I was speaking English so well initially, but somehow when I started teaching the children, I don't know what happened to me. After 20 years, I think my English became worse than anybody else's. So it, I don't know. I've been trying my level
can
best to
we
improve it.
uh, ask them their takeaways from today's session?
Okay.
If your
Can
session,
I have your takeaways? Hello.
Yes, ma'am. As far as I am concerned, I got to know that listening is the most basic and foremost of all the four skills of language. And though we perceive it naturally, but still we can develop it with practice. There have been suggested various activities that would enhance our listening skills in the class.
Yes, thank you so much. Somebody else?
Yes, ma'am. Until or unless we listen something, we won't be able to speak out properly. So we should speak small sentences with our kids and should use new words to make them familiar with that, so that they can be able to try to speak English.
Yeah, that's true. Very nice. Anybody else, please?
Uh, yes, ma'am. Most of the time we are so focused on making our students speak in this language that we do not pay as much attention to the very basic idea that is listening. So I think yes, activities should also be developed to make them listen more attentively and not just sit in the class and hear what we are saying. And the activities and the sites and different like British Council and others uh, suggested by all of you has been amazing. I think it was a very insightful and in a way inquisitive session. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you to all the teachers.
Thank you so much.
Sonia ma'am, can I say?
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Thank you all. I was listening to your feedback and I'm happy that all of you are learning something and we are able to give you something or we are able to revise some concept of yours. Just I want to make some point. First of all, have you all joined Telegram groups? The link for the Telegram group is given in the circular right before you to your department.
Yes, ma'am,
So,
we have.
support the Telegram group and appear for the pre-test that is available on the app of SCERT Delhi INSET. All of you, please download the app SCERT Delhi INSET and please appear for the pre-test. And on the last day, you are supposed to give post-test also. Also, there is a link for session-wise feedback. You are supposed to give the session-wise feedback as there were 4 sessions and you are supposed to write the name of the RP and give feedback in the app. Please download that and in the app only, through the app only you will be able to download your certificates. Please download your app SCERT Delhi INSET. From the Play Store, you can download this app, appear for pre-test, and please do give feedback of all the 4 sessions. And one more thing, the link for the training will remain same for all the 10 days. Tomorrow at 9:30, you can join the meeting with the same link that you have joined today. Anybody, if you want to ask something, you may ask. Anu ma'am, you are saying something, but you are not audible to me.
Ma'am, yes. Actually, I'm on maternity leave and my name was in the first slot. So, can I complete my training in this slot too?
Your name is it?
Anu.
No, your name is there in the list. What are you saying, ma'am?
Ma'am, my name was in the first circular in the
No, ma'am.
November
No,
session.
ma'am. Actually, we have been instructed that only the teachers whose name are there in this list can participate.
Only the and
I
what
have a
about
list of 50 teachers. Only these 50 teachers can participate in this meeting.
okay, ma'am. So I'm not supposed to attend this training now.
Yes, ma'am, because your attendance won't be counted. I can mark only attendance of these 50 teachers that are in my list.
So can I attend the training after the completion of my maternity?
Ma'am, that I cannot make sure because the date will be given by the department.
Okay,
So I'm not sure when your leave are going to be over. So dates will be provided by the department. I'm just coordinating this particular program.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sonia ma'am. Thank you, Ila ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, you want to say something? Or
No,
Sonia
thank
ma'am?
you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Any of the participant want to share something?
I wanted to ask that the PPT I wanted to share with them, from like where I can share it so that it can reach them.
Is it possible to share in the Telegram group?
No,
Ma'am,
ma'am,
I want
I
to
don't
ask
think so.
something.
It is to
Yes,
be
ma'am.
shared
Yes,
in
ma'am.
the
Please.
Telegram group.
Ma'am, Ila ma'am, somebody want to ask something. Let us first answer.
Yes, yes, please, please, please.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Ma'am, please,
Ma'am, who
Sonal
is
ma'am.
our mentor? Yes, ma'am. Who is our mentor? Because we have to fill the name in our feedback form. Dr. Chanchal or Sonia Bhal, ma'am? Who is
Ma'am,
our mentor?
the coordinator.
Mentor is
Ma'am,
associated
must
with
be
your
of your school.
I feel so. It might be your school mentor. It is name of the resource person. You can write Sonia Bahel, and in case
Okay, ma'am.
the name of coordinator is asked, then it is Chanchal Gupta. Otherwise, the mentor, I suppose it is a mentor of your school.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You have to fill separate feedback for all the 4 sessions. So you are supposed to fill 4 times the feedback. For all the 4 sessions, a separate feedback is required. So, Ila ma'am, I think you can share the PPTs on that Telegram group itself, because we have only that group with all the participants.
Okay.
That is the official
Ma'am,
group.
can I share it with you so that you can share it in the group? Is it possible?
You can directly share. You are also there in the group. You can join the group
Yeah,
and
let's
you
do
can
that.
share the links. Yes, you can share the
Okay,
link.
I'll do that.
Moreover, all the content is also present in SCERT Delhi INSET app. All the participants whosoever have missed anything, all the content or e-content is available on our app. You can go through that particular app.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you for now. See you tomorrow at 9:30 sharp.
Okay,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you so much.
So you may leave now. Thank you. Thank you all.
Hello.